Welcome to Toastmaster Time, the show that's got everybody talking. I'm Justin Pachos, and I'm very excited to be your host for tonight's episode. Just like in a regular Toastmasters meeting, we're going to have prepared speeches and evaluations. The evaluations are designed to be positive, constructive, and overall encouraging so that our speakers feel inspired to continue on the journey to becoming the best communicators that they can be. What makes this show unique, though, is that each of our two speakers are going to be evaluated by the same evaluator. That person is Ron Fitch from Alameda Tongue Twisters. Ron, welcome back to Toastmaster Time. Please share with us what's in store for tonight's episode.
Well, I just found out that tonight is going to be uniquely different because we have two uniquely different speakers. Barbara is going to tell us about her new puppy. And Shalini is going to tell us about a birthday that is very important to all Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Ron. I love that breakdown of what's in store for us. I love the energy and look forward to hearing more from you later on in the show. At this point, I'd like to introduce you to our first speaker, Barbara Gross from Heart to Heart Toastmasters in Berkeley. Barbara, welcome back to Toastmaster Time.
Thank you very much.
So remind our audience, how long have you been in Toastmasters?
Since 2012.
Awesome. So when you think back on your experience, what's been the most enjoyable part of Toastmasters for you?
I think our club really is a nice, cohesive group, and we really appreciate hearing everybody tell their stories and give constructive criticism.
Phenomenal. Great to hear. Now, when you think back on your journey, what's something you learned that really had an impact on you?
I think the more I embrace my authentic self, the better the speaker I am.
I love that. All right, you ready to rock out your speech for us?
I am.
All right, go ahead and head over to the red carpet. I'm going to share more info on Toastmasters with our audience at home.
Thank you very much.
Toastmasters is a worldwide educational organization that helps people build confidence through strong communication and leadership skills. There are over 14,000 clubs, over 270,000 members in 148 countries. For more information on Toastmasters, make sure to visit toastmasters.org. Barbara is going to be working on the Presentation Mastery Pathway. This project is a level 4 project where the objective is to use effective body language. Barbara Gross, Pachos, Barbara Gross.
Thank you. When I was about 9 years old, my father told me that I could get the puppy of my dreams. I was so excited, and he took me to the dog pound. Once there, I started looking at all the cages, and then my eyes laid upon the one. You know when you see the one, don't you? I put my finger in the cage, and he licked it. And I looked up at my father, and he said I could take him home. So once we got home, my father proceeded to teach me how to potty train him. And he told me never to have Pachos on the bed until he's fully potty trained. But we had to come up with a name, and so we came up with Sergeant, because he's always on duty. Get it? But when my brother came home from high school, since he was taking Spanish, he said, let's call him Pachos, because that's Spanish for sergeant. So Pachos it was. I happened to be in my room one day, and Pachos jumped on the bed. I swear, it only seemed like a matter of seconds, but then an ocean of water came out of him, and I had to think quick, what could I do? Paper towels. So I proceeded to walk into the kitchen while my mother's on the phone talking to her friend, and I had to keep going, getting more paper towels and more paper towels. And she kind of sensed something was up, and she caught me in the act trying to sop up the mess. I could never hide anything from my mother. Pachos was very smart. And we would have these long conversations. And I knew he was interested because he always kept eye contact with me. We had a rule that he couldn't jump on me in bed in the morning until my eyes were fully open. So some mornings, even though I might have been awake, I didn't open my eyes because while I would lie there and then once I opened my eyes, he'd be staring at me, waiting to jump and play. Now, at the time, we fed him prime variety, and the dog food came in packages of chicken, liver, and beef. I didn't like liver, and I figured Pachos didn't like liver either. So before I fed him the liver, I would get him all excited, and I'd say, Pachos, it's liver, it's liver, it's liver. And he'd get so excited when I opened the package and put it in the bowl, he ate it right up. And I thought, fooled you. But in actuality, the joke could have been on me, and maybe it was just a marketing ploy by the dog food company labeling the packages chicken, liver, and beef, but it all tasted the same. How would I know? I was never going to taste it. Now, where I lived, there was no leash law at the time, and we had a big field at the end of the street where Pachos would run and frolic with his friends. Inevitably, some days, he'd come home and he'd stink like fish. And I'd look at him and say, Pachos, why did you do it? And he'd be like this, you know I'm going to have to give you a bath. And he hated when I had to give him a bath. But I saw him do it sometimes. In the field, he'd find this fish and then he'd just rub himself like this. I think it was just an instinct that he had to do it. Now, one day, I was on the phone with a friend, and Pachos came in my room, and he started choking, and he was going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I got so nervous. He must have found a chicken bone in the garbage. I grabbed him up, I put him in the car, and I'm driving as quickly as I can to the vet. And once we get to the vet, there's a sign on the door, and it said, we are only doing worming today. I thought, no way. I open the door, Pachos runs in and he's, and now all these dogs and cats in the whole waiting room, they're jumping all over the place. The doctor comes out of his office and he said, what is going on here? I said, my dog is choking, you have to help him. And he said, I'll be with him in a moment. And he goes back in his office. I couldn't believe it. So Pachos is still going, ugh, ugh, ugh. And then all of a sudden the chicken bone flew out. And he's wagging his tail and he's happy as a clam. So I thought, well, problem solved, we can go. So I'm on my way out of the vet's office when the doctor came out again and he said, where do you think you're going? And I said, well, it's so fine. He coughed up the bone. We're fine. We can leave now. And he said, oh, no, he's coming in. I didn't care how much he was going to charge me because you know what? Pachos will always be priceless to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that speech, Barbara. It gives me an idea that I think we should allow guests to bring their furry friends here into the studio. All right, Ron, looking forward to hearing your evaluation for Barbara's speech. Go for it.
All right. Well, Barbara, this speech I didn't see coming. You gave us, you told us about the puppy of my dreams. We all had that. I had the puppy of my dreams. You talked about certain agreements that you made with the puppy. I loved all your descriptions, but in the beginning, you were kind of frozen. When you talked about walking back and forth for paper towels, I would have loved to have seen you kind of pace the floor a little bit because that's really what you were doing. But then you took us on a surprise story of the chicken bone thing. You know what? I knew the ending. I knew what was coming, which is you got to pay the bill. But you know, Your description was so good that when you mentioned liver, dog food, I could smell. I literally turned around here and went, wow, it smells like liver dog food in here. So your speech, you were a little slow to get evocative, but once you got going, man, you took control, and that's what expressive body language was about tonight.
Thank you so much, Ron, for that evaluation. It was positive, it was constructive, and it was overall encouraging. I think because of that story about Pachos, we at Toastmasters should change the name of Sergeant at Arms to Pachos at Arms. We'll get an initiative or a petition flying around about that one. All right, I'd like to welcome our second guest, Shalini Suravarjjala from Chamber Chatters in Pleasanton. She's been on the show before. So Shalini, welcome back to Toastmaster Time.
Thank you.
So remind our audience, how long have you been in Toastmasters?
I've been member of the Toastmasters family for 14 years.
Phenomenal. Great to hear. So when you look back on your experience, share with us something that you found to be extremely enjoyable when it comes to Toastmasters.
When it comes to Toastmasters, the best thing that I enjoy is I can actually talk. I'm an avid speaker, and what I learned here at Toastmasters is how to give my message in a certain amount of time, unlike my icebreaker, which was 14 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
My first time.
Gotta love those timers.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Now, I'm sure you've learned a lot throughout your journey. What's one thing you'd like to share with the audience in terms of something you've learned that's really impacted you?
The one thing that I've learned that has totally impacted me is the evaluations that happen in Toastmasters. It has helped me become not only a better speaker, but also provide feedback and even communicate emotionally to someone. And, you know, just be there to listen and evaluate and provide good feedback. I think that's really special about Toastmasters.
It's really what makes Toastmasters unique. You can give speeches at work or in other areas of society, but you don't really hear what people think about your speech. So it's really a special part of the program. All right, you ready to rock out your speech for us?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and head over to the carpet. I'm going to share more info on Toastmasters with our viewers at home.
Thank you.
Toastmasters centers their educational program around something called pathways. Pathways are different options you have to pursue depending on your communication and leadership goals. For example, if you're looking to become a stronger leader, there's the dynamic leadership pathway. If you're looking to present more compelling presentations, there's the presentation mastery pathway. If you're looking to crack more jokes or be funnier in your speeches, there's the engaging humor pathway. When you first join Toastmasters, you take an assessment, and based on that assessment, Toastmasters will recommend a few pathways that you can pursue. You can choose one of those that they recommend, or you can just choose your own pathway to pursue. For more info on the various pathways, please visit us at toastmasters.org. Shalini is working on the Innovative Planning Pathway. This project here today is a Level 3 project where her objective is to connect with storytelling. Shalini Suravarjjala, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Shalini Suravarjjala.
December 1988. I woke up in the morning with a big smile on my face. The early bird that I've always been, I just woke up even earlier. I was so excited because this was the special day. It was my 16th birthday. Who's not excited for that? But I knew exactly what to expect. I woke up, got ready, wore my cute little outfit for my 16th birthday, absolutely brand new, had perfect hair for the occasion, and I sat by my window in my room, waiting and looking at the gate a quarter of a mile away so that people can come into our front door. I waited, I looked at the clock. 8:30 a.m., I waited. 9:30 a.m., exactly at 10 o'clock, The man opens the gate and he starts walking towards our front door. I shriek silently inside. I'm so excited because I know exactly what I'm waiting for. I go up to the closed front door and just wait. What's taking this man so long? He can walk a little faster, I was thinking in my head. Ding dong! I open the door swiftly. Delivery for Shalini Devi from Major Rao. He handed me my big basket. I thanked the man. I took my basket carefully. I placed it on the counter. I took a deep breath and smiled. It was my very own flower bouquet that I received from my father every year without fail on my birthday. I knew exactly what I was waiting for, and I received it. Those flowers that were sitting on the counter made me feel special every day of that week. My father was celebrating me. I awaited these affectionate flowers from my father every year. Year after year, they kept coming, even when I was in college. They kept coming without fail on my birthday. Fast forward. August of 1996. Laptop, laptop, laptop. Silence. I lost my dad in these very arms when he was 49. Up comes December again. It's my birthday. There's no bouquet. It's just silence. Time continues. I get married in the February of the following year and move to the Bay Area. December comes again. My birthday is there again in the same winter break. There's no bouquet. It's just silence. Those flowers that I got from my dad always reminded me that he celebrated me. And I never got that sparkling smile that I always had. Don't get me wrong, my kids, my husband, my extended family, although they were always celebrating me on my birthday, I always got my favorite cake, my gifts, a bunch of family time, but there was that lingering silence. I worked in San Francisco, and on my way back, every week, I would see all these people at the corner of Embarcadero and Market picking up their own flower bouquet. They would give it to the florist and have their own bunch and smile. I looked at them. The smile seemed something that I had lost. Weeks passed by. One day, I just went into the florist shop and I picked my very own flower bouquet. I brought it home. I put it on the counter. I took a deep breath and I smiled. I did this week after week thereafter. That's when I just realized, why am I waiting for someone to celebrate me? I can celebrate myself. I can celebrate myself not only on my birthday, but the rest of the 364 days of the year. You can celebrate you. No one knows you better than you. Celebrate all the small wins, all those big wins. I will say just celebrate everything. Celebrate all of it. Celebrate you for yourself. Don't wait for anyone to celebrate you. Even until today, I go to the florist. I pick my own bouquet. I put it on the center counter. Take a deep breath and smile. You can too. Go ahead, find your own bouquet. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, you deserve to be celebrated all the days of the year. Don't wait just for the happy birthday. Celebrate yourself.
Thank you, Shalini, for sharing that heartwarming, touching, and inspiring story. One thing I love about Toastmasters, as evidenced by Barbara's speech and Shalini's speeches, you get to hear people's personal stories, and there's a lot to celebrate, there's a lot to laugh about, and it's one thing that makes Toastmasters such a great place to learn and listen. Ron, looking forward to hearing your evaluation for Shalini's speech. Go for it.
Oh, wow. Shalini, it's hard to make me cry, but you almost brought up tears for me. I did not see this speech going where it was going. I want to open by saying, I think if you do a little work on this speech, you've got a candidate for the International Speech Contest coming up in January. I think you could run with this because this was about storytelling, and you told us a story that was very moving. It reminded me of my father because one day I got a phone call from my mother that she said, "You've lost your father." And I didn't see that coming. And you know, you want to say goodbye, and you didn't get the flowers anymore. But then you shared with us the most important lesson of all, which is, can we validate ourselves? As an introspection therapist, just today I said to my client, would you be willing to validate yourself for having done that? Because we don't do it enough. And that is the importance of this speech tonight, was you reminded us that while it's nice to have other people validate us, what's more important is if we can do it for ourselves. So again, with a little bit of work, a few points, I couldn't hear your voice. It was a little low for me. That can be worked on. But overall, I think you got a speech contest winner. And I'm going to be in the speech contest in January, so I hope to see you on up the line. Well done.
Thank you so much, Ron, for that evaluation. Positive, constructive, very encouraging. And I agree, I'd love to see her enter that speech in the International Speech Contest. So Ron, we've got a few more minutes left. You mind coming back to the table? In Barbara's speech, that's a humorous speech contest.
Of course it is.
Yeah, humorous contest speech right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have two competition level speeches that we heard here today.
Absolutely.
So I've known you for a while in Toastmasters. One thing I admire about you is you love competing.
Yeah.
So share with us, what do you enjoy most about competing?
Well, let me tell you something that just happened the other night at Island City. Randall Eddington said about being a district officer, if you can't wait till it's over on being a district officer, then you haven't done it hard enough or done it well enough. And I said, correction. I was an area director for a year and I loved it to death, but I couldn't wait till it was over because when you're a district officer, you can't compete in a speech contest.
That's right.
And I want to be in speech contests. And what I like about it is taking something out of nowhere, as I've done in a few speech contests, and running with it. And as Vice President of Education, I tell my people, if you're in a speech contest, you should be speaking every single week until you get knocked out. So a couple of years ago, my club had to listen to me talk about bullying for like 4 months. I took it to the district level before I got knocked out. But that's what the contest does. when we find a speech that works, then we hone it and we craft it. And we get evaluations like tonight, and our club members tell us what they like. Somebody said to me, a thing you said near the end of your speech, that should be your title. And I went, yeah, you're right. Because my motto is your speech title is your calling card. So you got to make that title work. And I did. I moved it up. And I don't remember what the title was now, but it got me through quite a ways.
Nice. So whenever I see you speak, one thing I'm struck by is you feel very authentic. It feels like I'm seeing the real Ron up there. What advice would you have for somebody out there who is afraid to be authentic, to be vulnerable?
You want to know the truth? If you fake it, we're going to know. All too often, somebody will come up in front of our group and give a speech, and then they'll say, oh, I'm sorry that blah, 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 apology, apology, apology. And when I'm the evaluator, I say, hold it a minute. You do not need to apologize. We didn't know you blew it. Several years ago at the hospital in a speech contest, I was up on a chair, you may remember this, mimicking being up on the diving board, ready to give my line. When you're up on the diving board, there's only one way down. And right there, I stumbled. And my line went, and I said something like, well, we're going to try that again. Well, that's an apology. Not surprising, I didn't make it into the top 3. So, as a matter of fact, when you are authentic, we love it. That's what Barbara did tonight. She was authentic, so we loved it. Shalini, authentic. There's no put on there. In fact, when I hear people put on, I go, is this a humorous speech or is this for real? And I don't know how to take that sometimes.
Nice. You've got a lot of wisdom to share, and we're always grateful to have you on the show. So thank you for coming on, and we look forward to having you again.
Well, thank you for bringing me back. This has been a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we've got for tonight's show. Thank you so much for watching. Toastmaster Time is filmed in the San Francisco Bay Area. For more information, please visit us at toastmastertime.com. Toastmaster Time is sponsored by District 57 Toastmasters. For more information on District 57, please visit d57tm.org. And for general information on Toastmasters, like where you can find a club near you, more information on the educational program pathways, the history of Toastmasters, etc., check out toastmasters.org. This show would not have been possible without a lot of individual contributors who worked hard to make this show happen. I want to thank our wonderful staff and volunteers here at the Mid-Peninsula Media Center. This show would not be the same without them. I also want to thank Barbara and Shalini for coming onto the show and sharing their stories and their speeches with us here today. And thank you to Ron Fitch for being our general evaluator. On behalf of all of us at Toastmaster Time, I want to encourage you to join Toastmasters and to keep on talking. Thanks for coming up to the show. High five, high five, yeah.